Back with another video for you today, and today I'm talking about the latest launch of Tom Ford's Ombre Leather, this version right here. I reviewed Ombre Leather 16 back in 2016, but they had a limited run of that fragrance, and now they've relaunched it as a non-private blend collection fragrance. I'm going to tell you all about this release, plus offer 2 samples giveaway, 3 ml samples of Ombre Leather to 2 subscribers of this channel worldwide, so please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time on this channel and you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances, discovering new brands, participating in giveaways, and still haven't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. Ombre Leather 16 has now become Ombre Leather in a brand spanking new packaging bottle from Tom Ford. I'm wondering if these are the bottles they're going to continue doing from Tom Ford, because the bottles currently are completely different. And this is the very first time we've seen this particular bottle. As you can see, it's round, it's a matte finish bottle, and also the price point is cheaper. Originally when they launched this as a Ombre Leather 16, it was part of the private blend collection. It was a limited run, it was a collaboration or a promotion they were doing with a fashion event that they had done. So they did the event in New York City, I believe, and then they launched the original version. And I did a review of that fragrance, but I ran out of that fragrance because I loved it so much I wore it. In fact, I enjoyed it more than the original Tuscan Leather from the private blend collection. But 2 years later, they have relaunched it as this fragrance, as you can see. This is a 2018 version. It's considered a leather fragrance. The perfumer on the original Ombre Leather 16 was Sonia Constant, so I'm assuming it's the same perfumer here. Now, also, the price point is different than the private blend collection. This is a 100 ml bottle for $175. So it is cheaper than private blend fragrances, but pricier than the regular lineup of fragrances. Although I think those regular lineup of fragrances have come really close to $175 for 100 ml. In fact, they might even be the same price. So now that I think about it, they're probably about the same price. So it is a higher priced fragrance. It's almost $200. It's a bordering niche, but this is niche quality. It's not like a traditional, run-of-the-mill designer fragrance that you can find at the department stores or discounted and things like that. But after I've worn the original, I'm going to tell you what it reminds me of. It does remind me of a designer release from the mid-2000s that I wore 2 bottles of. At the time of the previous review, I couldn't figure out what it was, but now I know. So the notes here, we have cardamom, jasmine sambac, black leather, patchouli, white moss, and amber. It's getting very interesting when they add these additional explanations to the prominent notes in the fragrance, like black leather. How do you get black leather? Isn't it just leather? Also white moss. I mean, is there such a thing as white moss? Maybe there is, I don't know. If you know, let me know. But I thought it would be moss, but then again, it's trendy to add like unique descriptive words to, notes. So the fragrance that it reminded me of is a fragrance by Tommy Hilfiger that I wore in the mid-2000s called True Star Men. Now that was the very last time I wore a Tommy Hilfiger fragrance. I wore a lot of it in the 90s, but I really fell in love with True Star Men, and I loved it. And in fact, it was available at the discounters for really, really cheap, and I was buying it up for a while. But the very last time I wore that fragrance was the early 2010s. And I couldn't remember what it was, what it reminded me of, but this really does remind me of True Star Men. There's lots of similarities, and there's a few differences as well, but the True Star Men had a prominent citrus note. I think it was either lemon or grapefruit, I can't remember. But this does not have that. Now, is it similar to the 2016 version? Yes. In fact, I don't have my bottle. As I said, I finished it because I loved it so much. I was wearing it so much of it. It's almost identical, if not identical. To me, there are no differences. It smells quite awesome. I love this leather. I actually really, really love it. That's why I wore the other one so much, and I'm glad it's out now again as this particular fragrance. Does it remind you of Tuscan Leather? Yes and no. I mean, it's leather, so Tuscan Leather has similarities, but I find Tuscan Leather to be very, very rough. It's a very rough and not like smooth. This has like major smoothness, and that's what I liked about it. The other thing that I liked about this that also reminded me of the True Star Men by Tommy Hilfiger is it has this like smell of like cloth. Not only leather, it reminds me a little bit of fabric. I guess fabric and leather kind of go hand in hand, but I like that about it. It just kind of brings up some scent memories, of course. One with the True Star Men, and then of course the fabric. But I find this one to be a very sexy leather fragrance. The rough ones can get sexy, and I find Tuscan leather to be sexy as well, but this one has a smoothness that I feel like the other one doesn't have. The classiness. Like if I was going to compare Tuscan leather with Ombre leather, I think this one is a lot classier than Tuscan leather. This just Tuscan leather smells very industrial and rough to me, even though I do like it. This one also has a prominent jasmine floral note that I like here as well, that I don't pick up in Tuscan leather, but in Tuscan leather you have that very faint raspberry or blackberry note in there, so it does get a little fruity, if that makes sense. But other than that, I don't find them to be too similar. A lot of people say it's a lighter version of Tuscan leather, which I can agree, but that's not necessarily to mean this is a light fragrance. It's not like a wimpy fragrance, because it does have pretty beefy properties to it. Like it does have legs and it smells great, but it doesn't overwhelm like Tuscan leather can. Tuscan leather can really overwhelm and get anosmic, like you get anosmic to it. Both Tuscan leather and Tobacco Vanille are two Tom Ford private blend fragrances that when you spray a little too much, you get anosmic and you can't smell yourself. Here I don't experience it with this one, and that's why it adds this like classiness to it and the smoothness about it. It's warm and spicy at the same time. It's woody and spicy. So I would consider this a leather or a woody spicy fragrance, or maybe a warm and spicy fragrance. I'm glad that they put it in a regular collection, the signature collection rather than the private collection, because they have a leather. Well, they also have Fucking Fabulous, which is also a leather. Now they have multiple leather fragrances, so I think this one is perfect in the regular lineup or the signature lineup, because why would you want to have two leathers competing with each other? In fact, they have already the Fucking Fabulous competing with Tuscan leather, although they're nothing alike. Also, recent testings of Fucking Fabulous, I've noticed that the green clary sage note comes off almost like cannabis to me. I don't know if you've ever noticed that while wearing Fucking Fabulous, but to me it does remind me that even though it's clary sage, according to the notes, the authentic real notes, it kind of has this like cannabis-like properties. A little more about the presentation here with Ombre Leather. It comes in a box like this. It is a squarer bottle. Usually they're thin, the bottles, the traditional Tom Ford bottles, and they're not so thick here, not so boxy, a little more rectangular. But Tom Ford Ombre Leather right there. Eau de Parfum and everything is listed here. Barcode in the bottom. Some information in the back here, of course. We've got the Tom Ford logo on the top. I want to also say the box is very lightweight. It's not thick and cardboardy, so if you are opening this up and you have a hard time opening it, you can actually rip it really easily. So inside it's a black carton, and of course the bottle fits inside there. And then the bottle itself, as you can see right there, so there's Ombre Leather on there. I mean, I love the Tom Ford font. I think it's one of my favorite designer fragrances fonts. In fact, probably my favorite font overall in all of perfumery. I don't know why. So on the top, on the cap, you have the TF engraved in or indented in. And bottom, as you can see, there's always the typical information in the bottom here. And then, as far as the sprayer goes, let me show you how it sprays. Fairly decent. It's not as good as the Louis Vuitton bottles that I really love, the way they spray, but this is pretty decent. And as soon as you spray it, it's that leather that reminds me of that like fabric or material, sewing material that I said. And wonderful release. It's really beautiful. I love this one. I'm so glad they re-released it. The previous video, if you want to catch it, I have a link in the info box, but here I'm absolutely in love with this scent. I like it more than Tuscan Leather, as I said, and I'll be wearing this a lot. I find this one to be also perfect for fall season, and you know, this fragrance is launched here in the summertime, and you know, usually they launch, well, if they're launching it correct, they'll launch this one perfectly for the upcoming fall season. And then I think it's going to be decent for winter as well. It's not beast mode. It's like, it doesn't come off rough, as I said, like Tuscan Leather, but I think it'll be perfect for fall and winter. And it smells wonderful. The other prominent note I pick up here not only is the jasmine sambac, but the cardamom. The cardamom sets things off as soon as you spray it, which I love. I love cardamom. So the cardamom, and then also the leather, and then a little bit of that sambac, jasmine sambac, and the patchouli are pretty prominent. And then after that, we have a little bit of ambery touches, which you can also pick up here. But it's all about the leather. The leather is just awesome. This is absolutely one of my favorite leather fragrances now. Ombre Leather, check it out, guys. It is $175 for 100 ml. They do have a 50 ml bottle, and I think the 50 ml is about $135. I could be wrong on that, so I didn't double check on the price on the 50 ml bottle, but I thought the 100 ml bottle for $175 was a pretty good price for this. One thing I want to ask is, have you tried the original version of Ombre Leather 16, which was launched in 2016, almost 2 years ago, or have you tried the new version of Ombre Leather? Do you like both, or do you like one, or do you hate both, or let me know. I mean, do you prefer Tuscan Leather over this particular launch? As I said, I like both, but I prefer this one because it is a smoother and classier version of the leather. And there are similarities. It's definitely a leather, but I don't find them to be too close, personally. Let me know if you find them very close. Also, do you want to participate in our samples giveaway? I have 2 of them right here. It's in a 3 ml. Obviously, as you can see, it's not filled all the way, but I obtained these from my store that I bought this fragrance from. I said, can you do a couple of samples for me so that I can send them as giveaways, and they did that for me. So if you want to participate in this giveaway, this is worldwide. These will be easy to ship. So all you have to do is put a comment down. Let me know what your favorite leather fragrance is currently, and let me know what you find interesting about this particular review for this fragrance, Ombre Leather. And also put your country. This is open worldwide, as I said. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts on Ombre Leather. Have you tried it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Put a comment down. Let's get a conversation started. Also, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.